Where in the Portland area should you live? Well, that's what we want to help you figure out. And in this video, we're looking at Tigard, Oregon. Tigard is a suburb just southwest of Portland, east of Beaverton, west of Lake Oswego. So you're surrounded by a ton of great areas, but Tigard itself is pretty great too. Stay tuned to learn more. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Paul Clem with the Home Team Brokers coming to you from Tigard, Oregon today. Not Tigard, not Tigard, it's pronounced Tigard. If this is your first time to the channel, living in Oregon, and you want to get more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. We talk to people all the time who are relocating to Oregon and to the Portland metro area, and as real estate professionals, we love to help with that process. So if that's you, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video and schedule a Zoom call with us. Either way, we would love to help with your move to the Portland area. All right, so in this video, we're talking about Tigard, and Tigard is a primary suburb of Portland in the Portland metro area, just south and a little bit west of Portland city limits, Portland proper. You have Beaverton to the west, you have Lake Oswego to the east, to the south you have Tualatin and then Sherwood, and on the north side of Tigard, you bump into Portland city limits into southwest Portland. So Tigard is divided by Highway 99, pretty much cuts right through the middle of Tigard. Highway 99, when you get up into Portland, turns into Barber Boulevard. If you continue going south, you get to Sherwood, and then you get to Newburgh, and you can follow that actually all the way out to the coast. That'll get you out to like Lincoln City area. So the coast access for Tigard is sneaky good, but not necessarily if you're going to like Seaside or Astoria, where you have in Beaverton Highway 26 that goes out to those areas. I've always thought of Tigard because it is surrounded by all of these other areas. I've always thought of it to be a little bit kind of landlocked in a way. And primarily, you know, looking at like how to define that, or what I'm trying to get at is in terms of access, you're a little bit buried. So kind of cutting through part of the middle of Tigard, kind of on the south and west side, you have 217, which connects I-5 to Highway 26, cuts up through Beaverton. Again, you also have Highway 99, but Highway 99, although it's a two-lane, or rather a four-lane highway, you have a ton of stoplights, and it's always backed up. It's always really busy. And so getting to and from places, you can realistically tack on 10-15 minutes kind of going anywhere in either direction if you're getting outside of Tigard. So as far as convenience and access, Tigard definitely doesn't rank very high on the list. If you're on the east side of Tigard, it's actually bordered by Interstate 5, by I-5. So if you live closer to I-5, you can hop on I-5, get north-south, get into Portland, go south to Salem, things like that. But a lot of that area is very industrial. So you have kind of these industrial parks that separate effectively Tigard, I-5, and then Lake Oswego on the other side of I-5. There is an area in there called Durham. You also have Bridgeport Village, which I think technically is part of Tualatin, or the city limits kind of split, but it's this big outdoor mall that's really great, very popular. Also on the north side of Tigard, you have Washington Square Mall, which is, you know, probably, as far as classic indoor malls go, definitely the mall that seems to be kind of the most thriving in the Portland area, whereas in some areas you're seeing malls shut down and shutter. Unfortunately, Washington Square, though, is a very popular place to go shopping. There's some restaurants over there, if that's the sort of thing that you're into. So Tigard is actually the 12th largest town or city in Oregon. There's about 55,000 people. Again, you are surrounded by other towns, suburbs, and part of Portland all the way around Tigard. So, you know, whereas there's, 50, 60,000 people in Tigard, you're kind of right in the thick of it as far as, the metro area and densely, dense population. So it doesn't feel like a small town by any means. Again, you're surrounded by all these other areas. So like, Beaverton, over 100,000 people, Portland proper, over 1 million people, and just down the line. So it doesn't feel like a place that's less busy or less dense than any other suburb. In fact, Tigard does tend to be pretty dense. You do bump in to some of these areas where you're kind of right on the city limits, just getting into some other municipalities where there is a little bit more vacant land, and those areas are converging and still kind of building into each other a little bit. I think one thing about Tigard is a lot of the development, because it is relatively close to Portland, so it's kind of an older area for the most part. When you look at the Portland metro area, you do get a lot of older homes, probably not a ton built before 1950. You do get little pockets of older homes, 100-year-old homes, things like that, but you get a ton of mid-century development, 50s, 60s, 70s, on and through the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and you do get some pockets of new construction. Most notably, Bull Mountain, which is one of the most sought after, one of the nicest neighborhoods in all of the Portland metro area. And in particular, when you look at the age of the homes, the size of the homes, kind of the quality, you have some luxury in there relative to the average price per square foot and the average cost of homes in Bull Mountain. You really have this mix of affordability and, again, some relative luxury as well. The thing about Bull Mountain is it's about as far away from some of these primary access points as anywhere in Tigard. And what I mean by that is, you have to get down to Highway 99, get all the way up Highway 99. Even if you're going over to I-5 or to 217, you're fighting stoplights and a pretty heavy flow of traffic. But Bull Mountain is also really close to areas like Sherwood. You can shoot up into a lot of Beaverton and then north into Hillsboro. Bull Mountain on the north side of it actually borders kind of this South Beaverton, Progress Ridge, Neighbors Southwest, Murray Hill area, which is really popular and really developing. So you get kind of this newer area overall that has a lot of shine to it, but again, it's going to take you further to get to like downtown Portland, for example. But then west of that, in particular, very rural. So you can be on Bull Mountain, depending on where you're at, and you can have these sight lines, these views of just countryside, rolling hills, wine country. It's really beautiful, and again, definitely one of the more sought after areas in Tigard and in all of the Portland metro area. But I think there's 13 actual neighborhood associations, not like HOAs, but actual, like coded neighborhoods in Tigard. So you get some variety for sure. On the north side, you get like into Metzger. Some of that is unincorporated Washington County. There's actually another area called Metzger. So if you're looking on a map, it's kind of confusing. It's something we can talk about, obviously. But you have kind of the south end, or rather on the east side of 99, there's an area called Metzger. And on the west side of 99, closer to Washington Square Mall, you have an area called Metzger. But again, I think overall, for the most part, you get a lot of consistency, but you do get variety in terms of age of homes, so age of different developments. And I think that's part of what makes Tigard so great, is you do have so much residential development. So Highway 99 is very busy. You got your big box stores and your fast food. Tigard has a Costco, they have a Walmart, they have a Winco, Tigard Fred Meyer, there's and a lot of other grocery stores. So everything you would need is right in Tigard, in particular because 99 is that main highway cutting through there. But if you get off of Highway 99 in either direction, it's very residential and very suburban. So you have kind of a perfect mix of a lot of things you need, pretty much everything you would need nearby, but also you can be in some of these neighborhoods and it doesn't have an urban feel at all. You're not getting a lot of like through traffic and people cutting through your neighborhood or your street, a lot of cul-de-sac living, things like that. And the topographical makeup of Tigard is hills, rolling hills, windy roads, a lot of elevation changes. So it makes for a really dynamic and really unique and honestly really pretty makeup overall. And I think some of these things that make Tigard great honestly would lead me to say that Tigard is a little bit underrated and it flies under the radar. You know, so let's say you're moving to the Portland metro area and you're working at Nike or Intel, some of these larger companies in Beaverton or Hillsboro. Well, if you're in Tigard, you can get to these places pretty quickly. Now, if we're talking about getting into downtown Portland or the east side of Portland, northeast Portland, which are really popular areas to go out, go hang out, you know, then you're looking at, you know, tacking on an extra 20 bucks to your Uber ride or tacking on an extra 20 minutes to your drive relative to being in a lot of areas of like Beaverton, let's say. But the median sale price is about $630,000, $650,000. But I think overall across the board, you're going to get more house for your money. So there's a lot of larger homes across the board than even a place like Beaverton, which has a ton of really nice upscale neighborhoods with larger homes as well, but kind of on a per capita basis across the board, I think in Tigard, you do get a little bit larger home for your money. So that $630,000, $650,000 median sale price, you know, that only tells one side of the story, obviously. I think part of the trade-off with the affordability is, again, just the access to different parts of Portland. The dynamic is definitely changing with people working from home. They can kind of live everywhere. A lot of jobs aren't just in downtown Portland, you know, whereas they maybe were like 50 years ago. A lot of suburban areas in Portland have a ton of job growth and a ton of industry. Tigard is no exception. Like we talked about, there's that whole area with business parks on the east side of Tigard. You have like Capital One there, the regional MLS, which is the association that I'm a part of, is there, Comcast. So there's a lot of companies that have corporate offices there, not headquarters, but corporate offices. And there are some smaller businesses, startups in Tigard as well. So again, you know, if you're relocating to Portland, or to the Portland area for work, depending on where that is, doesn't necessarily mean that your commute is going to be awful. But just overall, if you look at a lot of places where people get out to and things that people do throughout the Portland metro area, again, your access is going to be a little bit more limited probably. Another thing to mention is downtown Tigard, which really seems to be turning over in a lot of ways as we speak. There are a few different restaurants, bars, things like that, some shopping in this downtown Tigard area. It feels like a small town little main street, which is really cool. And it's right off of Highway 99. It's really centrally located in Tigard. You have the Max line that runs through there as well. So the Max disconnects from the main line going east-west from Beaverton to the north and cuts off, goes down into Tigard, and then all the way down into Tualatin as well. So the public transit is great. Again, might be a little bit further out. You might be spending a little more time on the light rail or the bus if that's how you choose to get around, but it is still there. The public access is still there. But talking about this downtown area, it is really cool. It does feel like a little bit of a hidden gem right now. I think as it's turning over, kind of getting refreshed and revitalized a little bit, it does feel like an area that is going to start booming a little bit. There's a lot of great little neighborhoods in, you know, basically in walking distance or a less than 5-minute drive right from there. So it feels like Tigard, because of the development that's going on in the downtown area, from an investment perspective, could be an area that has a higher percentage growth and home value than some areas immediately surrounding it. That's my impression. You know, it's tough to say and we can't tell the future, obviously. And as it stands, I would say both Beaverton to the northwest and Lake Oswego, kind of due east of Tigard, both of these suburbs are very popular and have a much better downtown area. Beaverton is really blowing up, and I could see Tigard starting to kind of turn into what Beaverton has become. Still a lot of room to grow, but I mean, downtown Beaverton is night and day to what it was even 10 years ago. And then downtown Lake Oswego has always been really cool, had a lot to offer, but in the past 10, 15, 20 years has really developed some of the top rated restaurants, breweries, ice cream shops, things like that, and just shopping overall in all of the Portland metro area. So another thing we talk about a lot is parks. Tigard does have a lot of parks. It doesn't have as high a volume of larger parks as some other suburbs or areas in the Portland metro area. But Tigard has Cook Park, which might be, you know, one of the best, if not the best, park in the Portland metro area. Dozens of acres, bordered on the south by the Tualatin River, several soccer fields, softball, baseball fields, great playgrounds, very wooded. It's a really popular place to come and hang out and spend your time. Down here on the Tualatin River, on the south side of the park, you can actually rent kayaks, bring kayaks. You know, it's a very slow flowing river, so it's a really popular thing to do. Stand-up paddleboard, things like that. And Cook Park is pretty much just adjacent to, almost, you know, shares a property line with the high school. So there's one big public high school in Tigard, Tigard High School. There's also Westside Christian High School, which is on Highway 99. So it's really just the Tigard school system. Some of that bleeds over with Tualatin. Tigard and Tualatin do get associated with each other quite a bit. They're pretty similar in size, pretty similar in population. Tualatin feels a little more suburban. Tigard feels a little more diverse as far as the different types and styles of neighborhoods, and it is a little bit bigger. You are a little bit closer to Portland in Tigard as well. But again, there's one public high school and a couple of middle schools, dozens of elementary schools. So those are things that we can talk about if Tigard's an area that you're interested in. So I grew up in Southwest Portland, really bordering Tigard, spent a lot of time growing up. I mean, Tigard Fred Meyer was the Fred Meyer that we went to, the grocery store. Tigard Cinemas, that's where we went to see all the movies. Pizza Caboose, a lot of places up and down Highway 99 were right in my back door growing up. So I definitely have a little bit of an affinity toward Tigard because I spent a lot of time here growing up. It's definitely grown over the years, developed over the years, and has a lot to offer to anybody looking for a more suburban area, but relatively close to downtown Portland and Portland proper. Anybody who's moving to the Portland metro area looking for a great suburb, I think Tigard should definitely be on the list. I mean, I know a lot of people who live in this area, people who live around here really tend to like it. I think there is quite a bit of a community sense and community feel here in Tigard, probably more so than in an area like Beaverton that is just much larger. And if Tigard seems like an area that you would be interested in, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video. Schedule a Zoom call with us. We can actually connect and talk about your move, your timeline, your game plan, get you more information about Tigard or areas like it, talk about other areas that you've heard about or want to learn more about. Either way, we would love to help with your move to Portland. All right, folks, that's Tigard for you. If this video is helpful, make sure to hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. We really appreciate you watching. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.